Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
Infrastructure bill.
The cost for the future will be much lower than any
$3.5 trillion spending.
It would wreck our economy, it would increase inflation.
In Afghanistan.
Stop asking the Taliban for permission.
We only routed the Taliban. We did not defeat them.
September 11th.
There is no specific threat directed at New York City.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. Boy, this is one of those days we could go probably 3 hours.
Let's do it.
I mean, sad story out of Wrightsville Beach. A North Carolina father has drowned earlier today trying to save his son. They were fishing, and the tidal current took his son out. The dad went to try to save the son. The father's name was Bo Southafong, and they were visiting from Hickory. The son was saved. I'm sorry. This is being reported today. It actually happened back on September the 4th. Sorry about that. But the son was rescued by a kayaker, but the father was pulled in by a fishing vessel, and but they could not revive him. So got to be careful out there, especially, boy, if you get around the end of one of the islands where the tides just come in and out like a raging river, it can take you out quick.
And there's been, several storms at sea, not really affecting us other than the currents and all. And
well, isn't there a Hurricane Larry or something out near the Bahamas or the Bermuda or somewhere out there?
Yeah, I think it's out Bermuda way. But
and it says it's supposed to make the swells even larger this weekend off in North Carolina. So Joe Biden, this is really interesting. There was a story out just today from Politico talking about how Cousin Eddie, when he gives these public remarks, the White House staffers cringe to the point that some of the White House staff have admitted that they will not watch him live. And if the video is on, they'll turn the sound down. They'll mute the sound. They cannot take it. They're so terrified of what they're going to have to clean up. And he did it today again. He had prepared remarks. At the end of his prepared remarks, he said, "I'm supposed to stop and walk out of the room." You can't make it up.
How many times has he done this in just the last 30 days? I mean, it's like he doesn't talk to the press much at all, but when he does, he makes those comments, or either that or, hey, I'm supposed to call on Tom Lamprecht next, or,
he won't call on me.
He wouldn't call on any of us, that's for sure. But and then I heard on one of the Fox News little panels where they have your token liberal or two, and then your conservatives. Someone actually said, I forget who it was, and she was like, "Well, look, everybody has known for years that Joe Biden has a speech impediment." I mean, I cannot take one thing comes out of her mouth with any seriousness at all. If you try to defend Joe Biden and don't say it.
Go back and listen to the Clarence Thomas hearings and tell me that he had a speech impediment.
Well, just even in, when he, it was 4 years ago when he was vice president. He's always said stupid things. But
that's not a speech impediment.
No. But
that's a brain impediment.
Yeah, but he's, but now, he just can't keep a thought in his head more than a couple of minutes. It's just.
Jen Psaki was on David Axelrod's podcast. This was a while back, earlier this year. She admitted, a lot of times we say, don't take questions. But he's going to do what he wants to do. He's the president of the United States. He knows he's a gaffe machine, but it's interesting. The staffers, they cringe.
Well, he's always had a huge. Well, all politicians got huge egos, but Biden has always thought that he was the smartest guy in the room, and every person knew that he was maybe at the bottom of the room, even when he was in his 40s.
That's what makes it so humorous.
But his ego won't let him not take a question.
No, there's certain people that everybody else knows they're not quite with it, but yet they think they have got it together.
Well, Biden has always been. I've watched him. I've watched him since he's been in politics almost. which is a long time. I mean, he's always been one of these people, which are the most dangerous people. They do not know what they don't know. That is the most dangerous person.
But, man, he puts on those aviator sunglasses.
Oh,
he
yeah,
thinks
he's
cool
something. Joe.
He
yeah,
thinks
he's
cool Joe.
And
cool
then
man on campus.
Now he's even got a leather jacket he wears out in the Rose Garden with Jill when they're walking the dog.
Don't get any ice cream on it. But Joe's approval rating's not going well. The Federalist is reporting that Joe's rating has plunged below 40% this week, according to a new YouGov Economist poll. Overall, approximately 50% of the 1,500 Americans, that's a pretty good-sized survey, disapproved of Biden's White House track record, while only 39% approve. Even among registered voters, Biden's approval sits around 43%, while his disapproval is 52%. Democrats still show strong loyalty to Biden. 77% approve, 15% still say no, we don't think so. Approximately 89% of GOP voters disapprove of Biden's performance. This is the key right here. 56% of independents disapprove. 55% of black Americans say they approve. But that means, 45% of black Americans don't approve of Joe Biden. Only 41% of Hispanics approve of Joe Biden. I mean, aren't they not relying on the Hispanic vote? I mean, they seem to think that the Hispanics will automatically vote for Joe Biden, vote for the Democrat.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the breakdown of how people voted, assuming, you just throw out some illegal votes, but how people voted, hey, it wasn't those people that put them in. It was Republicans and independents that put Joe Biden in office. I hate to say it.
No, you're right. I mean, that's one of my huge pet peeves right now is there are a lot of, quote, evangelical Christians who were evangelicals for Biden. You like what you got now? But this survey is interesting. White women with degrees, a demographic that Biden, this is one demographic that certainly did help Joe Biden in the last election. The approval rating by white women with degrees, only 53%, 42% disapprove. I mean, I'm sure, I'd love to go back and find out what the percentages were in the actual vote. Kamala Harris didn't do any better, by the way. She was also included in this poll, and she's just as bad, maybe worse.
Is she? I forgot that she was vice president because she's been kind of.
She has
hiding.
disappeared.
I mean, she's like bad as Joe Biden was in the basement for a year and a half. I mean,
well, it is curious. I mean, that you bring up a great point. It is curious why she has disappeared. Because, look, nothing happens by accident in D.C. Everything is by design. Why has she disappeared? And, you almost have to ask yourself, okay, what is the next surprise out of D.C.? Are they trying to keep her undercover because they know just like Joe, if she talks, we're in trouble?
Well, she's a gaffe machine for sure, but it was a week or 10 days ago.
Cackle machine.
There you go, Clark. On cue. A week or 10 days ago, they had a poll on the vice president, and her numbers were horrible, like the worst of all time of poll numbers.
According to this, Kamala Harris, because usually the vice president is a nobody. And, they're right around 50-50. Well, you go out and survey people. They don't even know, half the people don't know who the vice president is. And so but anyway, Vice President Kamala Harris poll numbers in this poll, again, this is a YouGov Economist poll. Overall, 52% of American voters have an unfavorable view of Harris. 39% have a favorable. Even 17% of Democrats dislike her. That's more than the 15% that disapprove of Biden. So Democrats like her less than they like Joe Biden. Last week, a poll from ABC News, Washington Post indicated that only 44% of more than the 1,000 adults surveyed there approve of Biden's track record. 51% disapprove. So for neither of the two in the White House, the president and the vice president, not real good news for them.
Well, I was running late today and didn't get a chance to ask you guys, but did you get my perfect movie clip that describes the Joe Biden first 8 months in office?
We got it, but it didn't pass the FCC's
did it?
censor standards, so we couldn't play it. But,
Come on, man.
Well, how can we do the PG version, the sun doesn't shine on a dog's butt. How does it go? Well, you give it. You like it. You're
Well, see, long before the movie Hoosiers, that was a movie line in the Hoosiers movie. Long before that, my granddad used to tell me that years ago, that the sun don't shine on the same dog's rear end every day. You know, he would always tell me that when I just done something like made a great play in sports or got an award or something. So it kind of
that was a really encouraging grandpa there.
Well, but anyway, but in that movie, she tells him that, but you hadn't seen a ray of sunshine since you've been here. Well, I don't think Biden's seen a ray of sunshine since he's been in office.
No. I'm surprised he's not paler than he is. The News and Observer has got an interesting story out today. A North Carolina judge is giving state lawmakers until mid-October to fully fund a plan for improving public education, or else he'll take action. State Superior Court Judge David Lee said today that he was very disheartened that the General Assembly is funding only a small part of a plan that calls for at least $5.6 billion in new education funding by 2028. Lee said that if the plan isn't fully funded by an October 18th court hearing, he'll entertain options for how the court may exercise its remedial powers to remedy this constitutional deficiency. He said, I don't want to hold anybody in contempt, but this is bizarre. One of the, Pat Ryan, who's a spokesperson for Senate Leader Phil Berger, said, I don't know how much clearer we can be. If Judge Lee wants to help decide how to spend state dollars, a role that has been exclusively the domain of the legislative branch since the state's founding, then Judge Lee should run for a seat in the House or the Senate. That's where the Constitution directs state budgeting decisions to be made, not some county trial judge. Well said by Pat Ryan. And Phil Berger, I'm sure, gave him those thoughts. But this is bizarre. Again, this is judicial activism. I don't know anything about this Judge David Lee. I don't know if he's a Republican, an Independent, a Democrat, a Libertarian. I don't know anything about him. I tried to look him up. I couldn't find much information on him. But the idea that a judge is going to dictate to the state legislature how to put together their budget is bizarre. And this idea that he's got some state constitutional grounds. The North Carolina Constitution, I mean, there is no federal constitutional right to education. However, in North Carolina, it does give children, the state constitution gives children a right to an education through both the state constitution and state laws. The Constitution addresses Article 1, Section 15, that people have a right to the privilege of an education. It's the duty of the state to guard and maintain that right. Section 9, education has 10 sections. Section 1 says the means of education shall be ever encouraged. Section 2 addresses the duty of the state and the local governments to provide uniform system of free public schools. Section 3 addresses school attendance. Section 5, 6, and 7 talks about free public schools. There's also state laws that say the same, but it doesn't say anything about how much you should spend. This is bizarre for a judge to be interjecting. And it is so infuriating when these judges make these pronouncements of which they really have no power. I mean, I don't know why the state legislature should even give it the time of day, because this guy has no right to make these demands. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a constitutional whiz, but I can read the Constitution. I don't see anything in there that gives this judge the right to tell the state lawmakers what they must do. And he admits that this $5.6 billion in new education funding isn't complete until 2028. I mean, I really do wonder, and again, I couldn't find out a lot about it. I see you looking him up as we speak. Is this his way of trying to put the governor in a positive light? Because among other things, even though the state legislature has given teachers raises over the last, I don't know how many years, a pretty good percentage raise over the last 10 years, this would increase teachers' pay by another 5%. It'd be more funding for low-wealth school districts and expansion of the North Carolina pre-K program. But again, I don't know where this judge gets off on making these mandates.
I can't find anything about him, but regardless of what party affiliation he is, I would be surprised if he's not a Democrat. I mean, cause
Progressive anyway. Yeah.
I mean, you rarely see, and I know Democrats and liberals would disagree with me, but you rarely see Republican judges interject themselves in a decision.
Right.
I mean, they make decisions all the time that I don't like, but at the same time, hey, it was the right decision. There's too many judges think that they're the legislative arm, and it's just another case of that. It seems like.
Speaking of judges, there's a liberal group out there that thinks Brett Kavanaugh has interjected himself in decisions concerning the pro-life movement. We'll talk about that later in the program. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet, because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit TopDogOnline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
I'm a bit confused.
Cutting through the confusion.
Why are they forcing the vaccine on people at all?
News and views.
Should I get it? Should I not get it?
To bring you clarity and certainty.
I'm tired of it. So I'm losing trust in all of it.
Now back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Take a look at your weather forecast. A chance of showers tonight, late tonight, low around 73. So you're going to see some rain overnight. And then tomorrow afternoon, it comes in earnest. A 70% chance of rain tomorrow afternoon, a high near 82. And then tomorrow night, the showers continue. Most of the showers will be earlier in the evening. Tomorrow's low around 62. Friday looks great, sunny with a high near 82. And cool on Friday night. You were saying the other day how you like the cool weather you woke up to the other day.
Oh, yeah. Friday
night's low is going to be around 57.
I had to have a fire in the fire pit Friday night.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. This just in, Fox News is reporting that Republican California gubernatorial candidate Larry Elder had eggs thrown at him while he was walking in Los Angeles. Now, the reason why this is significant, of course, our conservative audience is smart, intelligent, well-informed. They know that Larry Elder is a black man. Who was throwing the eggs? A white liberal woman. And then the woman comes up and smacks one of the security guards that's there for Larry Elder. I couldn't tell if he was an African. I think he was a Caucasian guy, a big man, old, but he looked like he could have been in his 50s. And she comes up and hits him on the side of the face, and he pushes her back, and then she starts screaming, hit me again, hit me again, hit me again.
He should have knocked her teeth out. Not that I'm promoting violence, but he should have knocked her teeth out.
Well, the truth of the matter is, we were talking during the break, with these Antifa things, every now and then, you see the Antifa attack somebody, and they mess with the wrong, they mess with an ex-Navy SEAL or something, and suddenly they're lying on the ground, and they're crying, and they're running.
Yeah, the funny part to me, when you've particularly seen it out west, but when you see these Antifa types, they start throwing stuff or doing things at a guy that rides by in a pickup truck with big tires wearing a cowboy hat. I'm like, you have a bad, you just don't know how to profile. And the guy gets out and beats the crap out of him. I love it.
Well, and again, this woman, obviously a white woman, liberal white woman, she's got some black mask on her face, and it's. But here, I mean, again, liberals love to use the race card when it benefits them. But if this was a conservative attacking a liberal black candidate, oh my gosh.
Well, the one thing that I always agree with Malcolm X was that the most dangerous thing to a black man is the white liberal, and I do agree with that.
Well, if you're a conservative black man like Larry Elder, yeah, big time.
In the last couple of weeks, Larry Elder, he's been moving up in the polls and looks like
they're getting scared.
I mean, they actually said on MSNBC, one of the pundits on there said that he was the black face of white supremacists.
Yeah,
white supremacy,
yeah. And I'm sure it was probably some white liberal that said it.
Oh, it was, yeah.
So that's happening in California. A left-wing group is planning a protest next week outside of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home in reaction to his decision to dismiss a challenge to Texas' controversial abortion law. Kavanaugh, you're going to hear directly from us, reads a Facebook event from Shutdown D.C. Now, this same group, Shutdown D.C., came after Josh Hawley, and Holly's wife, Erin, was alone back in Missouri with her young kids, and these people scared the bejeebies out of her. And remember, I think this is the same group that actually tried to attack Tucker Carlson's house and wife. And, these people are violent, and quite frankly, it needs, these people, if they step one foot onto Kavanaugh's property, they need to be arrested and taken away. And but this is bizarre, though. This group says, quote, "We warned what would happen, and now in the dead of the night, Kavanaugh and 4 of his colleagues have effectively overturned the right to an abortion. Although we must acknowledge that the right wing had already succeeded in making abortion largely inaccessible for many people without means and people of color living in certain states." Yeah, the irony of it all, Margaret Sanger and the Planned Parenthood folks are doing their best to kill off as many black babies as they can. You look at the majority of Planned Parenthood clinics, and they're in black neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Margaret Sanger was a racist from the she was.
And
eugenics,
and
racist.
For you Hillary Clinton lovers out there, she was Hillary Clinton's idol.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Her and Saul Alinsky.
So you've got this group that is basically said, we're coming after Brett Kavanaugh. Frankly, we need to pass some sort of legislation that even such a threat. Now, if you threaten the president like this, they would come and investigate you and arrest you if they thought there was credence to the accusations. Why should we not investigate and arrest a group that is threatening one of our Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, he's got family, small kids.
Yeah.
That could get ugly. And I'm sure he won't have any protection.
And, why is it that you're constantly seeing the left turn to violence? I mean, they're always talking about, if you ever mention civil war, you're anarchist. And the anarchy is coming from the left.
Well, it gets them off the topic of defending their ideas that don't work.
Them. Yeah.
I mean, they can't defend them. Just because you're a loud a-hole, you're still an a-hole. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But anyway, they think being louder, it makes your point in violence, and it's crazy. These liberals, and you look, you had Rand Paul that was assaulted, almost
he and his wife
put in a hospital. They were doing the same thing.
Oh, you mean up when he's mowing his yard? Well, then they came after him after the Trump announcement.
And they were doing the same thing to Mitch McConnell, a couple of years ago when he was in power. Like you said, you mentioned Tucker Carlson. But, hey, these people, they have a right for safety and protection and to protect themselves. So if Kavanaugh, if something happens while protecting him, whoever it is, they got what's coming to them as far as I'm concerned.
They still go back to Charlottesville where some nut runs over this young girl with his car. And I'm not defending that at all. But he wasn't with an organization.
No, he wasn't.
He was just some redneck
It was a nut. Yeah.
And yet you've got an organization that pronounces ahead of time, we're coming after you. Really, we need to get on this and get on this quickly. Now, right now, if you're a Republican in the House and you announce some legislation, Nancy Pelosi would never allow it to get to the floor.
No. Mm-mm.
The Daily Wire is reporting the largest Confederate monument displayed in the United States was removed from public view today, over a year after blackface Governor Ralph Northam called for its removal following the death of George Floyd. So Governor Ralph, who dresses up in blackface, well, I guess he was the guy dressed up in blackface from his college yearbook. Maybe he was the guy in the Klan outfit. Klan, same thing. But he's called for the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue.
It's on Monument Avenue in Richmond.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was unveiled back in 1890. At the time, it was in a field well outside of Richmond, which now it's basically downtown Richmond. 21-foot statue features Lee on horseback on top of a 40-foot granite base. The whole monument was about 6 stories tall. Northam called for its removal last year, saying that we could no longer honor a system that was based on the buying and selling of enslaved people. Now, I actually talked to someone that is probably one of the premier experts on military history in the United States earlier today. I actually asked him to come on because he is a history genius when it comes to not only the Civil War but World War II, or his specialties. And, it was really interesting. It's sad because he said, Tom, I'd like to. He said, but nobody's listening. I can tell you all kinds of stories about Robert E. Lee, but nobody's listening. And he's a college professor. I'm not going to mention his name because he's just outside of our listening area, but good guy, nice guy, smart guy, knows a lot about Lee. But he was saying a couple of things about Robert E. Lee that I understand. Okay, if you want to put a plaque up and talk about the past, but he is a part of our history. But Lee was anti-slavery. Lee's family owned slaves at Arlington. And, of course, he lost his, anything that he had during the war was disappeared, including, the Arlington plantation.
So Arlington National Cemetery is located.
Yeah, it is now, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, he ended up inheriting some slaves, which once he taught them a trade, he freed them all prior to the war. He was asked to come before a joint session of Congress after the war, and he was talking about what had happened and his views on slavery. And he said, "Listen, I've lost everything during this war, and I would do it all again if it got rid of slavery." I mean, the bottom line is these people that are making, they don't know anything about history, and they want to change history. And it's just sad that we're never going to know history. And look, I know there's flaws in everybody. I'm not trying to paint Robert E. Lee as the best guy that ever lived, but this is a misrepresentation of history.
Well, the governor of Virginia, I mean, he's a lifetime resident of Virginia. Where was he on the issue of General Robert E. Lee's statue for the last 25, 30, well, actually 35 years of public life? He never mentioned it. It's just, it was the flavor of the day.
Yep, George Floyd.
Past Sir George Floyd riots, the ones that the liberals want to knight, the fentanyl drug addict that the fentanyls, they want to knight, and now all of a sudden, they all got to come down. It's ridiculous.
We're going to take another time out. Lots more to talk about, including some stuff that's going over in Afghanistan and the lies that are coming out of the Biden administration. Stay with us. We'll talk about that and more. We'll be right back.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Hey, this is Hank Hinton back here at Full Service Flooring in Winterville. I'm here today with Corey Little, who's the operations manager here at Full Service Flooring. Corey's been here 6 months, but you've been in construction a long time. Tell us about what you do here at Full Service Flooring.
Yeah, I got over here about 6 months ago. I've been in construction for, like I said, a little over 20 years, and I've known Tim for a long time now, and he's brought me over here to see what new kind of things I can bring to the store and to our customers. And I'm in charge of scheduling, and I don't know what else. I'm in charge of everything. It seems like we work together as a team and try to pull it all together. I might do a measure one day and do a commercial floor the next day, but we just kind of all work together and pull it all together at one time.
So what's new in flooring? What is the hot new thing?
The hot new thing is LVP or LVT, depending on what you're looking for, which look you're looking for. It's a waterproof product. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really beat it.
A lot cheaper than hardwoods?
It is definitely a cost-effective alternative to hardwoods, yes, sir.
So, Corey, how is business right now?
And business is good. Despite the pandemic, we're still seeing a lot of new customers in the store, and we get an opportunity to introduce our products in a lot of different situations right now.
Corey, you've got a lot of experience in the construction industry. How is that helping you here with people, helping people with flooring here at Full Service Flooring?
Sure. I try to take the experiences that I've gained over my time in construction to help apply that to the flooring, whether it be with what the structure is made out of, the subfloor that we're going over top of, or maybe even just how it coordinates with your kitchen cabinets in construction or in your bathroom, and how the tub and everything all ties together.
And a customer can just come here and see you anytime?
Absolutely. We're here 6 days a week, and we just love to see a new customer in here anytime. They can always call us and schedule something with us so we can make sure we have our time allotted for them.
Corey, thank you so much. That's Corey Little here at Full Service Flooring. Come see these guys. They're on Tilco Drive in Winterville, 756-9308 and fullserviceflooring.com.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. So did you hear about the mother of Marine Corps Lance Corporal Kareem Nokii? Her name is Shanna Chappell. She posted on Facebook that she would love for Donald Trump to attend the funeral for her son. He was one of the 13 that lost his life. He's going to be laid to rest on September the 18th. Nokii was one of the service members, and She said, "Thank you, Mr. President Donald Trump, for your beautiful response to me. I would love if somehow my president, you, Mr. Trump, could be present as I lay my beautiful baby boy, Lance Corporal Kareem Nakoe, to rest. It would be such an honor to meet the real president of the United States of America. President Trump, I love you and America loves you," she wrote. "Thank you for all the things you have done for honoring my son, for your love, your support. Thank you for all the kind words and your accounts to get me my account back. Much love to you all. Stay strong. Now's the time we need to fight back. We don't stop until we have our country back on her feet." And in response to that, Donald Trump, first of all, took a screenshot of her post on Facebook saying, "Thank you, Shanna, and our country loves you and especially loves your beautiful boy, Kareem." I'm not sure if he's going to be able to attend the funeral or not. But after this mom posted her criticism of Joe Biden, Facebook and Instagram immediately took her accounts off, took them down. They did restore them and said, "Oh, it was a mistake. It was an error." Yeah, right. You know, listen, I rarely go into Facebook anymore. I'm really thinking about just canceling my account. I mean, I go in there once in a blue moon now. I really think we ought to all cancel our Facebook accounts. I mean, these people are sick.
They are.
And look, you can live without it. I mean, just learn to make a phone call or just text message your friends.
It's amazing what they do to censor people, because I've got so many examples of information that's valid information, actual videos of actual things that's happened. And if it's anti-Democrat Party, anti-progressive, anti-Black Lives Matter, whatever, it will not get posted.
Kiss it goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Suspicions confirmed. The Daily Wire is reporting the Biden administration, the State Department, refused to give approval to private charter planes seeking to evacuate Americans and Afghanis from our allies from Afghanistan. And this is now confirmed through a leaked email. The State Department refused to grant official approval for private evacuation flights from Afghanistan to land in third countries. And we knew this was happening, but now it's actually been confirmed by an email that was obtained by Fox News.
This morning Glenn Beck had on his show someone, I don't recall their name, that's part of the private process of getting people. And, you know, Glenn Beck, what we talked about, the Nazarene Fund is involved in it.
Right.
But they actually said the State Department were denying them for, certain paperwork.
Yeah, that's what they said.
And said, hey, you have to go to the embassy. Well, there is no embassy. You allowed the embassy to be taken over by the Taliban.
I mean, Anthony Blinken, said, quote, "We have been assured again that all American citizens and Afghan citizens with valid travel documents will be allowed to leave. It's my understanding that the Taliban has not denied exit to anyone holding a valid document." That's at a town hall today. What a bunch of BS.
Mm. Tell me. I'll tell you a little bit about our Secretary of State, because I was curious about him. Where'd he come from? Well, he's basically been an assistant to Joe Biden in Congress, his foreign affairs assistant forever when he wasn't working in the State Department.
So this is just payback.
The guy that Bob Gates, that was President Obama's Secretary of Defense, right?
Yep.
That said that Joe Biden had been wrong on every foreign policy issue for the last 40 years.
This guy's the guy in charge.
And now he's our Secretary of State.
Unbelievable. But, I mean, the idea, I mean, he's either the most naive idiot that's ever been the Secretary of State, or he's a liar, or both. But the idea, I mean, look, I know nothing. I'm no expert on the Taliban, but I do know that it's a religion.
Yeah.
They're jihadists. They think that they're going to get extra virgins if they kill more Americans. And you're talking like they're rational people. They're not.
Yeah, and what the top 4 or 5 people in the Taliban now is the ones that were released from by President Obama.
They're calling it the Obama dividend. 4 out of the 5 Guantanamo detainees who former President Barack Obama released in exchange for Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl in 2014 now hold senior positions in the interim government created by the Taliban in Afghanistan.
The same Barack Obama that said ISIS was the junior varsity. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Good gracious.
And now, wasn't Biden just saying a week or so ago that, Al Qaeda is gone? Al Qaeda is not an issue. No, Al Qaeda is now basically in charge. Oh, and the other interesting thing too, this has been reported today. U.S. News and World Report is reporting that China is considering deploying military to the Bagram Air Force Base. Mm-hmm. Our Air Force Base that we put $1 billion into. Not only have we handed $85 billion in arms to the Taliban, we're now going to hand over the keys to the Bagram Air Force Base to the Chinese.
They'll have our embassy over there. You watch, China take it over. They'll rent it to China. China.
I hope and pray,
as Trump says.
And I don't even want to bring this up, but I hope and pray that September 11th comes and goes without any incidents. But isn't it ironic that, or maybe it was planned by the Biden administration, and somebody just texted me and said, Blinken is a traitor. And it's interesting because I put down in my notes, these people really need to be investigated for treason. Mm-hmm. I mean, for treason. I mean, these people are our enemies. You talk about helping out the bad guys. You talk about enabling our enemies. I mean, they themselves have said they want to eliminate us. I mean, I'm not going out on a limb here.
Well, you want to think. I mean, part of me thinks, these guys cannot be this stupid. It's intentional.
I've said that for weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
I just heard Sean, and I understand what he's saying, but on the way in, I was hearing Sean. He talked about how he's impaired and he's got cognitive issues, and I don't disagree with that. But quite frankly, I would wish that was all it was.
He is the useful idiot.
If it was merely incompetence, and he's making these decisions on incompetence, his incompetence is allowing other people to use him to make these decisions. These decisions are not because they're stupid. And I think we're being stupid if we're going to leave it at that. To say, well, it's just their incompetence, therefore, no.
Well, Biden, I guarantee his whole thought process is just getting to the end of the teleprompter without saying top of the page, bottom of the page, or whatever.
Listen, we got to take another time. Yeah, I know. Joe, oh, boy. Pray for our country. We're in bad shape. Hey, stay with us, though. We'll be right back.
Your trade is in on demand. That means your trade value has never been hotter. Get to Greenville Toyota now. We'll pay more for your trade than ever before. Get cash on the spot, even if you don't buy from us. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Greenville Toyota's got fresh, hot shipments arriving daily, and they all come with our Greenville Advantage. No charge lifetime maintenance, no cost oil changes, and more. But you better hurry, because even though our inventory comes in hot, it sells even hotter. Rush to Greenville Toyota.
Hollywood.
You don't know everything about me.
What's up, Doc?
Fake stories made to entertain.
The tree that heals all.
But real life deserves real news.
The Delta variant.
The cases rise.
We don't need mandates.
Get this border secure.
Reopening schools.
Raging inflation. Inappropriate sexual advances.
We separate fact from fiction.
The world has a way of changing.
The reality of what's happening.
This is real life.
Eastern Carolina's place to talk about everything. Right now, more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Portland State University professor Peter Boghossian has resigned in an open letter which he accuses the administration of Portland State University of fostering an environment hostile to intellectual inquiry and dissent. A philosophy professor and well-known critic of woke ideologies came out today and said that the university had created a social justice factory where students were taught to mimic the moral certainty of ideologues. I never once believed, nor do I now, that the purpose of instruction was to lead my students to a particular conclusion, he wrote. Rather, I sought to create the conditions for rigorous thought to help them gain tools to hunt for their own conclusions. That's why I became a teacher and why I love teaching. But brick by brick, the university has made this kind of intellectual exploration impossible. It has transformed a bastion of free inquiry into a social justice factory whose only inputs were race, gender, and victimhood, and whose only outputs were grievance and division. The university had no response.
What's he going to do now?
I think he'll have a lot of offers at a lot of other universities. I mean, there are still some quality universities around, private universities.
It'd have to be private.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to find, are there any really good conservative state universities? I don't know of any.
They're not in North Carolina, I can tell you that. Sorry.
That's interesting, and so is this other story out of the New York Post. Billionaire entrepreneur Mark Lohr wants to build the nation's first woke city. I don't think this professor will have anything to do with this new city. Former Walmart, Sam Walton's rolling over in his grave, former Walmart executive and e-commerce billionaire Mark Lohr wants to build the first woke city from scratch somewhere in the U.S. Lohr last week unveiled plans for his utopia called Telosia, which is the ancient Greek word for telos, which means highest purpose. The mission of this new city is to create a more equitable, sustainable future. That's our North Star, Lohr said. We're going to be the most open, the most fair, and the most inclusive city in the world. Are you going to be the most transparent? Because that's what all good liberals say. Mm-hmm. The key to the city's plan is Lohr's economic vision, in which the land upon which the city is built will be donated to a community endowment. Residents, in turn, own their own homes on the land and are enriched as home values increase, according to the project site. And after a period of hypergrowth, residents can buy the land from the community endowment. If you went into the desert where the land is worth nothing or very little, you created a foundation that owned the land, and the people moved there, and the tax dollars built the infrastructure, and we built one of the greatest cities in the world. Now, it's interesting that this guy is a billionaire, because it appears to me that his head is up his rear end. I mean, the idea that we're going to have this kumbaya, that everybody's going to be equal, that there's not going to be any kind of hierarchy, there's not going to be the rich, the poor, we're all going to share, it's all going to be wonderful. While the current economic system is a growth engine, it has led to increasing inequality. So he wants this equality of everyone at the city. Just this is how we're going to do things in the future. Now, what's interesting about this is this guy is part owner in the Minnesota Timberwolves, the NBA team. I asked Benny, okay, well, do you let the poor people come in for free? Do you pay the janitor the same amount that you pay your center?
Yeah, and as he was making his company successful and selling it out and making $1 billion, did he pay everyone in his company the same? Did he make the same thing as the lowest level software designer in his company?
Well, listen,
I bet not.
He could save himself a lot of work by just, if you want everything to be equal, you know what? Figure out what the average income is, the median income of Americans. You take that per year and give the rest away. Wouldn't that be a lot easier than building a whole city? And by the way, did the Pilgrims try this and fail miserably?
Yeah, he hadn't read any history. I mean, he might be a good tech guy, but he didn't pay attention in history class.
Hey, listen, we got to run. We'll do it again tomorrow. Pray for America. We'll play a little political trivia tomorrow. All right? We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
We're on location at Fabric and Home Furnishings, and I'm back with my friend Lisa Pendry. And Lisa's been telling me about all the great renovations that have been going on here in the store, and I've been looking around, and it looks fantastic. Tell us what you've done here.
Well, we've knocked some walls down, we've painted, we've added some new vendors, lots of new exciting things going on. So we're making room for everybody to get what they need to transform their homes.
Looks fantastic in here. Last time we talked, you were saying that you were able to deliver a lot faster than most other furniture stores. Is that still the case?
It is. It's changed a little bit, but we're still looking at around 8 to 10 week delivery, and we do sell our floor samples right off the floor.
All right, we always say that Fabric and Home Furnishings is more than just a fabric store, so tell us what the more is all about. What when people come in, what should they expect?
Well, we love to get to know our customers. I have the best crew I've ever had, and everybody on my team is an interior designer. So we offer in-home design service, which we always have, but now they can each come out to your home after they work with you in here, figure out what's going on in your residence or your commercial property to pull it together and help you make everything beautiful.
You got great folks here.
I do.
I can tell you, I haven't gotten to know them. It's like a family when you come in here, and everybody gets along well, and you can tell that these guys and gals really know what they're talking about when it comes to interior design.
They do, and that's really what makes us different. We offer complete in-home design service. We don't charge a by-the-hour fee. It's a flat one-time fee. We work with you in here, in your home, in your business, and help pull everything together.
All right, it's more than just a fabric store. Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village. Come see this lady. She's fantastic. Fabric and Home Furnishings. Come see the renovations here in Arlington Village. And thank you for the visit today.
Thank you, Henry.
All right, you got to come see what they've done in the store here on Arlington Boulevard in Arlington Village.